square roots. So first we're going to talk about what a square and square root are. So squaring a number is raising that number to the power of 2. For example, 4 squared equals 16 because 4 times 4 is 16. When a negative value is squared, be careful to note whether or not the negative sign is inside the parentheses. Observe the differences below. So inside the parentheses, we do negative 2 times the negative 2. Outside the parentheses, we would do negative 2 times 2. This negative would be on the outside, and that would be negative 4. So that's how we square a number. Now the square root is the inverse of squaring a number, so it's kind of like the opposite, like multiplication and division are opposites, and addition or subtraction are opposites. So the square root of 16 is both 4 and negative 4, because 4 squared is 16 and negative 4 squared is 16. The positive square root is what we're really worried about. It's called the principal square root. When using the radical sign, this is called a radical sign. The solution is the positive square root. Additionally, we call 16 a perfect square because the square root is a whole number. So we're going to be talking about perfect squares here. Perfect squares and square roots. So I want you to pause this video and try to fill out this entire thing yourself. And then you can start it back to check your work. Alright, so 1 squared is 1. 2 squared is 4. 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, and 8 squared is 64, 9 squared is 81, 100, 11 squared is 121, 12 squared is 144, 13, 169, 14 squared, 196, and 15 squared, 225. So now to find the square roots, we just figure out what numbers, what is the square root of what number equals 1? Well, it's 1, because 1 times 1 is 1. And then the square root of what number is 2? Well, that's 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. And then square root of 9 is 3. And the square root of 16 is 4. And then 25, 36, 49, 64. Square root of 81 is 9. Square root of 100 is 10. Square root of 121 is 11. Square root of 12, or square root of 144 is 12. Square root of 169 is 13. Square root of 196 is 14. And the square root of 225 is 15. So just check your work. Now we're going to go to estimating square roots. So this is what we really want to understand, is how to estimate a square root. So perfect squares are numbers whose square roots are whole numbers. So examples of this would be 9, 25, and 121. Square root of each of those, this is 3, 25, and 11. Or 3, 5, and 11. Non-squares or square roots are not whole numbers. Non-perfect square roots are whole numbers, are not whole numbers. Jeez. Examples of this would be the square root of 10, the square root of 24, and the square root of 99. We can use our knowledge of perfect squares to estimate the value of a non-perfect square. So what are we going to practice? We're going to estimate the value of square root of 50. So we're going to use the number line to help you locate the closest perfect squares. So the closest perfect square is it falls between 49 and 64. This is 7 and 8. So we know the square root of 50 is between 7 and 8. To determine which square root is it closest to. So it's 1 away from 49, and 50 is 14 away from 64. Since 50 is closer to 49, the square root of 50 will be closer to 7 than 8. And it will be a little over 7, so I would say like 7.1. Remember, we're estimating. There technically isn't a right or wrong answer. We just need to make it as close as possible. So estimate the value of square root of 22. Again, it is between square root of 16 and the square root of 25. So this is 4 and 5. So we know it's between 4 and 5. Now we need to figure out which is closer to. We'll see. Let's see. 22 is 6 away from 16, and it is 3 away from 25. So I would say it's all closer to square root of 25. So it's closer to 5. So we're going to say it's like 4.8. Now, estimate the value of a square root of 103. So I've got square root of 100, square root of 121. This is 10. This is 11. 10 and 11. Now it's 3 away from 100 and 18 away from there. So I'm going to say it's closer to 10. And I'm going to say it's probably about 10.1. Alright? So I want you to pause the video right here and check your own work. Once you have tried all 4 of these problems, and then we will want you to check your work and play it back. So which of the following square roots is best represented by A? So I would put the square roots above them. So we know it cannot be 7 because we're in between 9 and 17, and it cannot be 8 either because, again, 9 and 16. And I would say that this is 15. It's way too close to that 4. Number 5, which of the following would be the best estimate for 198? So again, 198 falls between 196 and 225. And again, it is way closer to 196, so it can't be over. It's not closer to 15. It's not halfway, so it has to be that one. Between which 2 integers would each of the following lie? So the square root of 90 would follow between 9 and 10, because 9 is 81 and 10 is 100. Square root of 175 would be between 13 and 14. And negative square root of 12 would be between negative 9 square root of 9 and negative square root of 16. So this would be between negative 3 and negative 4. Rebecca bought a table, or a square table. Wow, that's not very square. The area is 65, so I need to figure out what this is and what this is. A square has both of the same side lengths. And guys, this right here is how you're going to see it on tests. Okay? So this would be how you was going to see this on a test. So we need to figure out what the same side length. So this would be x squared equals 65. To figure out what that is, we need to take the square root. So we have x is the square root of 65. And 65 falls between square root of 64 and the square root of 81. And 65 is right here. And this is 8. And this is 9. So I would say it's probably 8.1. Now last one. Create a label on a point in the number line to represent a estimate the following. So the first thing I would do is put all these square roots up here, what they all are, so we can work from there. So the square root of 5 would be really close to here, so we're going to put an A right there. Square root of 88 would be closer to 81 than to 100. Square root of 16 is way closer to 4. Square root of 118 would be closer to 121. And the square root of 56 would actually be in the middle because it's 7 away from 49 and 64, or 8 away from 64. So we're almost right in the middle. I actually do want you to summarize this lesson. If you summarize the lesson, you're more likely to remember little things about it. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Have a great day.